Are you done? Are you done with your Zoomies? Oh my God. I was afraid I wasn't going to be able to start on time because the dog, he was a Zooming. Ooh, let's switch that. That's better. All right. So I have to finish doing the little things that I'm supposed to do that I've forgotten how to do because I haven't done live streams in a really long time. So nobody, nobody crucify me whilst I get it together. Let me get it together. Let me get it together. I am sweaty. I am wearing the makeup from 5:45, 6 a.m. 6 a.m. we'll say. All right, hold on. Let me do all the things and then we'll be like living our most medium life. Oh, that's not what I wanted either. So I'll just copy that. Right, right, right. Okay. Hi, Janet. Hi, Heather. Listen, I'm working on the things. It's been a minute since I've done like a live stream, so I feel like an idiot because I just don't know how to do things. Like I forgot how to do things. I'm like, ugh. All right. All right, so we've got that. Let me see that. No, that's not what I want to do. I'm gonna have to open it. You might hear double, so give me a second. No, that's not what I want to do. There we go. All right, all right. I got it the way I want it. M is alive right now. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Bo is licking himself so loud. Hi, Danae. um, like summon the people. Listen. The way I'm about to rant right now, honestly, I don't know if I want the people to show up because it's gonna get loud. Also, my fro is froing. I trimmed it myself. This is actually Black Girl Math. Excited about that. So, first order of business is business. I would like to say thank you to the patrons and the channel members without whom I would not have been able to actually take a break and actually take a moment to pause. I'm still pausing. I'm trying to get it together. I feel like doing this particular live stream may actually help me. If I could film, if I had the money to film the way that I actually want to film, I would be unstoppable because I'm a walker and a talker, but I don't have the equipment to make that happen for me. So it's just like, I just got to do what I can do. So I want to thank the patrons and channel members. Truly, y'all make it so that I can continue to create content. And also, guess what, y'all? Guess what's shipping? The ritual to fee. The ritual to fee is shipping. So we will be talking about that. We will get there. Thank you for the love on the fro. And also, this is like a long overdue rant. I feel like what's happened is like my brain has so many things going, and I can't sit down to finish scripting any of the things that I want to script because like I have all this stuff just like running through my mind. And one of them, let me just coffee. Nope, there's no booze in the coffee. Danae, get you a glass of wine because we're going to talk about brand trips. Mm. One of the things I like to do on this channel is not just tell, it's all media, right? And YouTube is a form of media, and the things that people do around and on YouTube and on the other various platforms, Instagram, TikTok, blah blah, those are things I want to talk about. And I want to talk about brand trips because before I even get into it, I just want to say this like crystal clear: with or without brand trips, these brands are not going to reduce the price of the product at all. I'm going to say it again. With or without brand trips. They're not reducing the price of the products. They're never going to do it. Okay. It's not going to happen. It's wild to me how people's bitterness just like won't allow anyone to have a good time. So, just to put it into perspective, I just want you to know brand trips are not just for beauty, okay? They happen everywhere. They happen all over. And it may not necessarily be like a trip, but for instance, anybody who works in bars knows booze companies regularly show up, do things, cater to folks. They do all kinds of stuff. And the whole point of them is it's not about whether or not we, the audience, thinks they're cool. I feel like people don't understand that. It's not whether or not I'm like, oh my God, happy to see my friends having a good time. It is literally a business trip. And the business is getting these people who have influence into your brand to like it and then share their like of it with their audience. Care if you like the trip or not. Like the brands really don't give a shit. If they cared, they wouldn't have taken people to some of the places they took them to. Period. Right? They don't care. The point isn't about me or you or us getting to watch it. Like they're just doing what they do, which is posting stuff, but that's not the point. It's all networking. Like anybody who networks, this is the same thing. And it is not just beauty that does this. There's so many industries that do that. The other thing I want to also make crystal clear is this: they're never, they're never going to just send you on this trip, Elizabeth from Boise, Idaho. That's not a real person. I just made them up. But if there is an Elizabeth in Boise, Idaho watching me right now, hi, I'm sorry that I used your name and I hope I didn't offend you. They're not going to send you. They're not gonna send you. I feel like people don't understand business. Like I feel like nobody took like one business course and it gives me a headache. Like watching the discourse around this and like all of the brand trips, just watching the discourse around people being upset that they're happening. I think one of my favorite comments is when people will go, do they not know that the economy is bad? We're broke. Listen, the world doesn't stop because I'm broke. Like, I'm aware of that. I hope you are too. Like, does it suck sometimes that you get to listen? I enjoy it because when I'm broke, I want to see other people having fun so I can feel a little less broke. Like, that's the point. That's the point for me, Heidi. The point for me is like, I want to watch these other people enjoy themselves and have fun whilst it makes me a little bit less miserable. And I just want you to know that your bitterness makes your breath stink. In case you were wondering why your breath stunk, it's your bitterness. So the point about this is like, I've been watching this go on for months. I've been watching people out, like bully other influencers out of not going on a brand trip, being really rude and hateful to people who are going. And I just feel like, first of all, stop being mad that people are like, I think the side thing here is let go of the idea that all influencers are rich because that's far from the truth. It's so far from the truth, it's unreal. Because let me just tell you right now, a lot of these folks, if they were rich, like they wouldn't even be sharing a room. They wouldn't be doing it. They would have just like paid their own way to get there and have things exactly as they wanted them there. Because listen, if I was rich, that's what I would do. My autism and ADHD cannot handle sharing a room with a stranger. I have some issues with my digestive system. And if I'm honest, I absolutely need no one to be privy to that. No one to be privy to the things that happen to me. Okay. I don't want anyone to be a part. If I was rich, I would be like, listen, no, you can fly me out or whatever. I'm paying for my room solo with no one. Thank you. Um, because I can't let this be the talk of the trip. But there's only like 1% of influencers who are like rich, right? The rest of people are like either just like making a living or doing well enough to like not have to have another job. And then you have the others who this is a hobby, it's a side gig, like they're excited to go, right? I think it's thank you. Thank you. Listen, y'all are my people because there's no way I'd be rooming with anyone. Period. I don't. And they are jealous. People just don't want to admit it. Like, here's the thing about bitterness and jealousy. When you admit it, like the reason that I don't have any irritation or hate for any of these trips is because it was very easy for me to admit a long time ago. Like, first of all, I want to live vicariously through you. I don't want to go. I don't want to go. Okay. I don't I would probably have a full-on meltdown because they'd be like, here's our itinerary. And they'd be like, first, forget I'm like, first. You mean there are other things planned for the day? There's more than first? Like, I wouldn't handle it, right? I would not do well with that. I would be like, no, no, I can't really do these other activities because they'd be like, we're bless you, baby. I'd be like, we're gonna have breakfast. They're like, that sounds great. I enjoy breakfast. Bless you, baby. And then they'd be like, okay, then we're gonna go do this. And I'd be like, no. And they'd be like, we're gonna have lunch. And I'd be like, oh no, we're not gonna have lunch. I'm gonna have lunch alone in my room. I want to live vicariously through people having a good time. I don't want to see people get bullied. I don't like the way that people treat creators. And also, let's keep in mind that just because you don't like a creator based on their online persona doesn't mean that you know them as a person. So, like, let's not judge people based on who they're hanging out with. That is middle school behavior, and we need to move past that. Cheers. Janet, I can imagine the stress because I can see I have a friend who's on one and they'll polo me from time to time. And like I get stressed out just seeing them all in the room together. I'm like, "Bleh." Like I can feel like my entire being just sliding away from me. Right. So there's that. Then there's the Tarte situation. Y'all, Tarte has a history of disrespect. Tarte isn't for black women. Tarte is not for black people. Period. That's not who Tarte's for. Do I have a shade in Tarte with my foundation? Yes, yes, I do. But is Tarte actually for black? No, they are not. So some black folks had a poor time. And whilst I respect that and I understand that and I feel bad that they had a bad time, I'm also going to give just a smidgen of just a smidgen of side eye, just a little bit. The reason I'm going to give that small amount of side eye is because, like, y'all, Tarte's been doing this. Tarte has been doing this. Like, I don't get it. And here's the thing: if I'm going to sell out to hang out with Tarte of all brands, baby, I'm getting the whole plate and all the fixins. I'm talking a breast, a leg, a wing, and a thigh. Okay. I want the mashed potatoes with the butter, okay? The cornbread with the sweet butter. You better have the red beans and the rice. I want the whole plate. All right. I'm not selling out to Tarte and selling out my people for a shitty hotel room. It's not going to happen. I'm so sorry. I'm not doing that. That's ridiculous. You sold out for like nothing? I'm embarrassed for you. I'm embarrassed. Like you literally had like these people, this is my problem. Black girls went on this trip to Tarte acting like America. And if you need to know what that means, America, one of the younger countries, literally has the playbook from all these other countries, has the answers on how to do things better than they were done. Instead of doing that, America was like, nah, screw those answers. I'm going to do it myself. I'm going to do it myself. And they did it wrong. And it's the same thing with this. Like a quick Google search, Tarte racist would have let you know as a black person that you should not have gone at all. Like you just should have stayed your happy ass at home. because then you have like wild things happening. Like, I'm not in the beauty community because it's not for Black people. You know what I'm saying? It's not for Black people. I'm okay with that now. Like, I'm just like, you know what? I don't need to push myself into a place where I am not wanted. It makes sense, right? Like, if you have any form of neurodivergency, or like, yeah, any form of neurodivergency, you know what it's like to go in a room and not be wanted. You can feel that. You have that palpable, gross feeling. A lot of people like think people with autism can't take social cues and whatnot. It's some don't, but for me, I just don't know which of these cues I'm supposed to be paying attention to and what rules apply to this situation. But I can definitely tell you, I know when I walk in a room and I'm not wanted. I don't know how you went on this Tarte trip with all the information on the internet about how they treat Black creators. Again, I am not saying anyone deserved anything. That's not what I'm saying, because it's terrible that they went and they had a poor experience. But what I am saying is, why did you try to go where you knew you weren't wanted? That's all I'm asking. Logan, I need your bitterness makes your breath stink on a coffee mug. So I can drink out of it whilst making eye contact with the offending party. Listen, if I get my ass underneath me, I'll make that into merch at some point. Your bitterness makes your breath stink. Yeah, if you're going to sell out, at least do something good, because these folks were afterthoughts. And I'm just like, y'all don't. This is exactly why. Like, I was just watching the video and she said this so clearly. I'll put it in the description box. But she was like, this is why we keep saying that Black capitalism will not save us, because you weren't even like the top of the list. You got smaller rooms. You did not get to go to all the things that everybody else got to go to. Like, you should not have to be at the bottom of the rung and feel like you were included, like, because you got a free trip. A man took me on a third date to Miami. Like, it's not hard to get a trip, babes. A man. Can you imagine? I mean, it did happen, but it's still weird to think about. Like, I went on a trip with a man on a third date, and I'm still alive. Wild times. But like, that whole situation just made me ooked out. And I really liked Fanita, and I just don't really know how to feel about her right now, because she was also somebody who was caping for the fact that like Black creators are not treated equally. And now she's doing this, and like, knowing it's just wild. I get sad that people just get in their feeling. They feel so much more comfortable and confident being like semi included into whiteness, instead of just like being where they actually wanted you to be there. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, I know that there's a lot of brands that wouldn't include me in anything, right? There's tons of brands who aren't going to include me. And when it comes to like brand trips and the way that people feel about them, I think, again, it comes from bitterness, it comes from anger. You can't let that affect your opinion as to whether or not a business should be a business. And businesses are going to do this one way or the other. The only thing that they can change is just be like, just don't post about it. We're going to bring you, we're going to show you shit. It's still going to happen. It's always been happening. So the fact that, oh my God, man, listen, it was a mistake. Everybody makes mistakes. Okay. This is the moment where I put on my gray hoodie and I cry and I go, listen, I know that you all expect a lot out of me. And I let myself get carried away in my panness. And I allowed a man to take me on a date. I know. But yeah, I mean, when it comes down to it, I just don't think that people understand that this is business. It will always be business. It's no different than networking. When you come to these brand trips, it's not about you, the viewer. It's not about how you feel about it. If you can't, like, Danae, listen, He wasn't great. I'm probably the hottest person he was with, to be honest. He wasn't he wasn't great. That was in my experimental era, I will say. Speaking of experiments, I guess. I don't know if that's a good segue. It's not. We're going to move on. Have y'all heard about the Mean Girl situation? Because many people have talked about it. And I like watching commentary on this. And obviously, I just don't have the wherewithal to get my brain that won't. I sleep like maybe 3 to 5 hours a night. If I'm lucky, I'll get 5, but mostly it's like 3. If I had my way, like it's too late for my dreams now. I'm too old for my dreams to come true. But if I were to actually be a content creator full time, that would make my life so much better. I'm a day sleeper. All right. Some might call me a vampire. It is what you want to call it. But I need to sleep in the daytime. I function better at night, but I'm forced to be awake during the day. And like my body just can't. Anyways, the Mean Girls. So, for those of you who do not know, I believe the creator's name is Josephine. She was trying to do like the creator thing, trying to like film a little creator video, maybe a TikTok, whatever. And behind her were 2 girls who were being really mean and nasty. And this erupted in rage. Uh because they were being like really nasty. Josephine seems like a sweetheart and she didn't seem like she deserved that. Nobody deserves that. Let me rephrase. Nobody deserves that. She just seemed like she was just trying to do her creator thing. And I feel like here's the thing. I'm elderly. So for those of y'all who don't know, who are young, there was this time in the past where if you wanted to take a photo, it was on film. Now, the film was it was tangible, it was physical, you could touch it. You shouldn't, but you could. And you would take pictures. And then once the pictures were all done, you would take the roll of film to the developer, and then they would develop it into gorgeous pictures for you. Actually, most of them, you look terrible and the lighting was bad. It is what it is. The point is, back in those days when you were going to take a photo, you would normally say like, oh, do you mind if we take a photo? And then the other people would get out of your way. Fuji as well. And the other people would be like, oh, sure. And they would move out of your way because you want to take a photo in a very specific spot or whatever. And they would move because you were kind enough to be like, do you mind if we take a picture? And they were like, yeah. And then you would take a photo and like people would be out of your way. And the same thing was even happening with filming where you'd be like, oh, do you mind if I film this right quick? And they're like, oh, sure. People would move. So 2 things can be true at once, right? Those girls were hideously rude and unnecessarily nasty. But also, Josephine really could have made an effort to let them know that she was filming. I really think that the 2 girls in the background, I'm not caping for them, so don't go here, but I am going to say that I do think that the girls in the back very much felt that they were like sitting here watching another rich influencer. I use the term rich loosely because again, it's 1%. Like the way that people think that everybody's making like gobs of money, it critical thinking, y'all. Anyways, but I'm also gonna again include the video from Solari. I think his name is Solari. I love his work. He is fantastic and he has a very soothing voice. I'm going to include his video in this description talking about being a YouTuber because it does relate to this, and being a content creator. It does relate to this. I just think that they felt like she was another rich influencer and they wanted to take her down a peg, right? As a lot of people would do. It doesn't make it right. No, a lot of people are just jerks, right? And when you see somebody who you think has all of this money and this following and all of this stuff, and then you see them and they start filming, they haven't even bothered to be like, hey, is it cool if I can film? Again, I'm not caping for those girls. There is this the angry, ugly, bitter part of your brain that comes out, and you're just like, oh, she's just gonna start filming and acting like we're not here, blah 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 blah. And then just they were flipping it off and being mean, and they started filming her. It was really ugly. The problem though is that just because they were mean doesn't mean that they deserve to be doxxed, to have their lives threatened, to have their families' lives threatened. Like, this is wild. The internet mob has been a problem for a long time, and I feel like a lot of people, especially, hey Luna, welcome in. I feel like a lot of people do not understand the nastiness of the internet mob. I have been against this for a very long time. I've been against this since way back when people accused Hannah of being a bad friend, Smoky Glow. That's how long I have hated the internet mob. Okay. Because people do not understand nuance. Bless you, baby bear. People do not understand nuance. People do not understand how to, like, this is why cancel culture doesn't work, because you're not canceling somebody, you're attacking them. You're bullying these women, these young women who bullied somebody else. You're trying to like ruin their lives because they were mean. Like, it's one thing to be like, hey, did you know that your employee is racist? And it's a whole other to be like, hey, don't let these girls come to your college because they're see you next Tuesdays. That's not the same. One of these things is not like the other. And like, I don't understand how we have gotten from trying to get people to take accountability for the actions that they have had and been filmed doing, to like, we want to decimate every ounce of your life. Doxing these women, horrible. Like, trying to get them fired from their jobs, horrible. Salem had a great video, because what she said to the, like, I was out there, this happened today when I was listening to her video. I was out there. My feet are killing me. I'm standing there. I'm delivering mail. It's like 5 o'clock. It's just been a really long day. I had full coverage BS. I'm pissed. And she said something that like made the rest of my day bright and able to like move through. She was like, because people were saying how they would have turned around and said something to her or whatever. And she was like, no, most of y'all wouldn't have done anything. Most of y'all are too anxious to ask for ketchup at McDonald's. And I was like, oh my God, yes. Like, yes, we, most of us are too anxious. Yeah, this is becoming a problem, because I, again, I'm not saying that people, the world has to stop for you to do influencership, but this is a job, right? And people do it as a job. Me, I'm doing it because I enjoy letting out my creativity, my thoughts, whatever, onto the world, and then I just like move on with my life. I don't always respond to comments like I'd like to. I think a lot more of my public stuff may just be hearted at this point, because I can't do it. Like, I love talking back and forth. That's why I have Patreon. That's why I have channel memberships, so that we can actually have conversations. But like, I can't do it here. I'm just so tired a lot of times. I'm exhausted now. Do y'all see my eyes trying to go to sleep? But I feel like the protocols have been forgotten on what we do when it comes to filming and taking photographs in public. Because again, elderly, we used to ask. Like, there was a protocol where like let's say there was a beautiful fountain, right? And you and your friends want to take a photo. What you would do is, like, if you're asking somebody to take a photo, you're like, "Can you take a photo of us?" They're like, "Yeah." A lot of times either you or that person who's going to take the photo would tell people around like, "Oh, do you mind? We're taking a photo." And for the most part, with the exception of the guy who thought they were so awesome, bunny ears, but for the most part, people would like move out of the way, because very few of us actually want to be some like weird random part of someone else's memories. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be in the background of your engagement photo. I will move. Thank you. Um, and it was not proportional to what they did wrong. They were literally just being assholes. Like, that's all I could say. They were just being assholes, flipping off the camera, laughing at her, trying to make her feel uncomfortable, which was all terrible stuff, right? But it doesn't deserve death threats. Nothing deserves that, first of all. But like, it doesn't deserve people trying to get them fired from their jobs, of trying to, like, all of this stuff where you're just like, are y'all okay? What's going on that people can't like be normal for 5 seconds. Like have a normal this was like what they did was here and then like what everybody else did was here. Like it's just off the charts of wildness. I don't understand how we've gotten to this point of bullying. And I feel like one of the reasons that this connects with brand trips as well is because the way that people bully other people into being like, yeah, I hate it too. Watching rich people do things. Again, it comes into money. This is a capitalist society. Capitalism is going to cap, and it's not going to stop because I'm broke. Okay. It's just not. The prices of things aren't going to go down just because I'm broke. Like eggs aren't going to magically be like less expensive tomorrow just because I'm like, oh, hey, but I'm broke. um, the way that people assign weird, ooh, I hear the train. Oh my God, that's so autistic of me to be like, train. So, anyways, I'm like, every, I'm going to miss that when I move because I do like to hear the chain, like the horn. That's a Union Pacific train. Okay. Anyways. But the thing about being an influencer, and I don't even like that term anymore. I think one of the reasons that some people went to content creator is because there is, I really, me personally, I think it is different. I think that there is, in fact, a difference between an influencer and a content creator. I would say that the difference a lot of times is influencers are all about like, buying, purchasing, getting these things. Content creators create content, but um and they do have sponsorships and whatnot, but their main goal is to create content that they enjoy making to get to an audience that wants to watch it. That's what I like to do. All right, I like to create content that I enjoy making that other people will enjoy watching, and influencers are just that. They are trying to influence you to buy something or other, right? And that's the point of their entire point of their job. I think that we have gotten to this point where we think that followers equals money, and it doesn't. So that's also true. Like I have 20K followers on TikTok. What does that mean? Nothing, right? Nothing. I had 10K on my old channel. What does that mean? Nothing. Like it doesn't give me this magic pass, right? So so listen, Agatha, Agatha, Agatha. I love Jen. Jen is one of my dearest friends. I'm getting some fun polos from the thing. I can enjoy it vicariously, but honestly, if the polo is longer than like honestly 3 minutes, even that I'm struggling. I'm like, oh, there's a lot of people having like a lot of fun, and I'm happy for y'all, but it's actually kind of stressing me out watching all of y'all. It's like giving me my nervous goat farts that I get every time I get concerned that I get like super nervous. I'm like, I would not be good at a brand trip. Would I love to go? Yes, but no. Yes. Invite me, but I'm not going. I'm not going to go. Thank you. I want to stay inside. I want to stay in my house. I don't even like to travel. I hate that people are like, you don't like going to new places. No, no, I like being in new places. I don't like traveling there. It's a very specific thing. I'm still waiting for the Star Trek to the beam. I need the transporter. You see what I'm saying? If that existed, I know it's like almost impossible because it's very, very difficult to get all of the molecules of the human body to like dissipate and then reform in a new location all intact. But that was too much nerd. I'm like, that was way too much nerd. But like I don't like traveling. I I feel like we're just watching a lot like just bitterness everywhere. If there's one thing I can get across, it's that like please try not to let your bitterness and your anger and your irritation for what's going on with you be so angry. Yeah, I had a whole video about this with PR, and like I talked about it. I was like, it doesn't do these brands any good to send like product to send a random person on this trip. What is Sarah from Wisconsin with 3 followers on Instagram, and those 3 people are her family members, going to do for the brand? What's going to be the ROI? Because again, this is not a charity, it is a business. And the more I say this, the more I have to like really like I get that people want to complain because complaining is how we sometimes feel better, right? Well, like we complain. I'm complaining now. And is it making me feel better? You're damn right it is. But the point behind it is that realistically speaking, these are businesses and they are going to do the things that they need to do to keep their business running. And if that means getting influencers to a location all together to spend time with one another, hang out, get to know each other, this does multiple things, by the way. Okay. So, one of the big things it does is that if you have a diverse group, not Tarte wouldn't do that. They don't care about diversity. And if they do, you're going to be at the back of the bus. Anyways, they get a diverse group of people together, right? And the cool thing about this is like if you have, say, me, Jen, um, Tina, you have a few people in there. Let's bring Lacey. Let's bring Teresa as well. Let's bring M. So you bring some folks along. You bring Michelle Wong, right? And we all have different skin tones, different skin types, right? And we're trying, like, we get to play with the products, all this shit. The good thing is when we get back, we're able to talk about the products confidently with good information, but we're also able to cross share other creators being like Michelle might go, it's not my shade. If you want to see them on deeper skin, you can check out Audra Rains, right? Well, back then it was Audra at Home. So she would be like, you can check out Audra at home and they will have, deeper shades so you can see what this looks like on their skin, right? And I'm able to back and forth. That's the point. You create a circle of business between all of these people. All of these people networked with one another, got to know each other, and then we can all utilize one another, not use, but utilize one another to help with things like shade range, oily skin versus dry skin, normal skin. Everybody's kind of able to contact one another and be like, you should talk to this person, you should watch their video, you should see their video on blah 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 blah. It's cross promotion, not just for the brand but for the creators, and it's like a little, and that's how business works. And that's business. I feel like if I had it, I would put it in. That's hip hop. But that's how it works. And that's the point of it. So, like, there's literally never going to be a point. And I hate to say this, but unless you are really ill, that's the only reason that they would do that. And again, because it's a business, because they're going to get a huge ROI from helping someone who was ill and everybody's rooting for. As terrible as that is, that's the reality of business. That's the only reason they would do it. If you had a business and let's say you're making quilts and you're like, I want my profit on these quilts that I make to be $20 and the yarn is $12 to make this quilt. I don't know anything about quilting. I know these numbers are off, but I'm making it up. So let me live. So then you're like, okay, I'm going to sell these blankets for $32, these quilts, right? But after a while, the place that you buy the yarn from realizes that you're buying like loads of yarn. And they're like, hey, are you a business? And you're like, yeah. And they're like, oh, well, what we're going to do is we're going to sell this yarn to you at cost because you buy so much. And you're like, cool. So they reduce the price of the yarn. So now instead of $12, it's $6, which means you're now able to make $26. We're going to pretend my mathing is mathing. You're able to make $26 profit on this now. You're like, holy crap, I'm getting $26. At no point in this equation are you literally ever going to drop the price of your quilt from $32. This is why I think it's wild when people be like, I wish they passed the savings on to the customer. Once again, that's when you buy a mascara, that's not paying for the brand trip. I just want you to know that. That's not what's paying for the brand trip. That's not how business works. I just need you to look it up. I just need you to like Google one time. Google one time. Take one, just look at it. I hated that course, by the way. I hated like business financing. I hated it. I almost didn't pass. It was so fucking, I hated it because it was a lot. And I was like, oh my God, why does this work this way? Um, oh, I don't fuck with Wayne Goss. I do not fuck with Wayne Goss at all. At all. Under zero circumstances. And now that I'm not in the community, I can say whatever I want. I'm like, I don't mess with him. I don't watch his content. I stay as far away from that man as I possibly can. I don't need to be told that I'm old and ugly and I shouldn't wear red lipstick. I'm good. I don't need that kind of negativity in my life. I'm all positive vibes and fun times and fun drama, but like I'm not gonna mess with that. Yes, you would only pass the savings on if it makes you cheaper than your competitors, so you sell more than them, period. And that's the thing, unless like once you've shown as a customer that you will pay that price, they're not going to reduce it. They're only either going to be making it cheaper than the competitors or they've got to get rid of stock. That's it. They're literally not going to do that. Nothing else does that. Like, no one's going to drop this price just because. Because what you're going to most likely do with that money that you make, the extra profit in this quilting example, is more likely than not what you're going to do is you're going to take those funds and you're going to start using those to help build your business, right? Being able to hire other people to help you with the quilting, to help you with your accounting, to help you with your social media. You're eventually going to be utilizing these things and making other products. So you're like, okay, well, now I can add pillows. And you're just going to keep doing this. These are businesses. Like Danae says here, they're not nonprofits. That's not it. Yeah, I mean, he could do like, listen, my friends are my friends. I don't care who they fuck with. I ain't fucking with him. I don't care if he called me personally. No. No. I'm not doing it. I don't like him and I'm fine with that. I'm like I am perfectly fine with that. I think that's the video that I may have seen. Yeah. But like that's all I'm trying to get at. At the end of the day, these are businesses. If you run a business, if you sell stuff on Etsy or Amazon, any of that, you know what I'm talking about. So it's really disingenuous of you to sit here and act like magically, oh, don't lick my leg, baby. That these businesses should be just giving freebies to random people because it does nothing for their business. You know what I mean? Like I like Cleona. I love Cleona actually. I love my Davina. I love Adept. I love T T T T T. I can't say it. I can't think of it, but it starts with T. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Terra Moons. There we go. But like I am a Black creator with even on my YouTube channel. I'm a dark-skinned Black creator on a UK with a YouTube channel that has 10K creators that's not getting views. Why would you send me stuff? It doesn't even make sense. I get it. You know what I mean? So like it doesn't I'm fine. Like I would much rather just like not deal with like being stressed. And I feel like people just don't and people don't know how to enjoy things. Like just enjoy these brand trips. And finally, y'all, I need y'all because the next time I have a little rant, I'm gonna try to do these. Maybe I'm not even gonna try to schedule it because listen, we don't know. We don't know. I still have to watch Win a Date with Tad Hamilton with the fam, with the patrons and the channel members sometime this week. So that has to happen. But y'all need to be checking out this Illuminati stuff. Like, if you don't know it's run by Blair. Okay. Her name is Blair. I don't know her last name, but it's Blair, the Illuminati. And y'all, if y'all remember the Creep Show art situation, it's like not as bad because it wasn't like a decade of stalking, but it's not good. Also, I learned about the Click, who I still not going to watch his content, but I found him. I find his voice pleasant. I like the cadence at which he speaks. It makes it easy to sleep. Would y'all be interested in a video about like content creators whose cadence is easy to sleep to? Because I can do that. No, don't lick my foot like that. Anyway, I got to take Bo out for his last to do because it was a rough day for all of us. I worked almost a 11-hour day. 11-hour. Yeah, it was great. So I'm so glad you watched it. Yeah, Paige's video is super good. I'm so glad somebody watched it. Listen, it's a wild ride. And I'll just leave you with this. I used to be subscribed to the Illuminati, all right? But she had this tone. She started to take on a tone I didn't like. And this is way before, like, I feel like this was when she was maybe at 100K. And now she's at like 1 million. And I didn't even realize that had happened. So this was a while back. She focused on like MLM content, etc. But she got this tone. And I don't know how to explain it. But I heard it and I was like, I think I'm not going to watch her videos anymore. There was something about the tone of her voice that had changed. The cadence changed and her tone changed. And I was like, ah! So I backed out. So then I had just recently, maybe last year, I feel like, is when I started watching Cruel World, Happy Mind. Cruel World, Happy Mind. Sweetheart. Love her videos. She's just like a sweet baby angel on this earth with like terrific. Anyways, very sweet girl. And I ended up discovering that Illuminati had accused her of plagiarizing. And I was like, damn, now I really don't want to watch your content. I'm not going to say I don't like you because I don't know you. And I try often to be very careful about saying I don't like you personally because I don't know you, the creator, but I didn't like that behavior. And I was like, I'm good. And I was right to stop watching your content because that tone, I was correct what I heard. Listen, I may not pick up on social cues all the time. I may not be able to tell exactly what your face is doing, but my ear, that picks up everything. All right, y'all. Good night. Thank you for chilling. If you watch this on the replay, appreciate you. I'm going to try to make like a crafty thumbnail or something like. Anyways, I'm going to take Bo out. I'm going to drink my coffee. I'm going to take a very, very hot shower for my back. And hopefully tomorrow is a better day at work. I hope you all have a wonderful Friday, a great Thursday if it is. Also, if you're in Australia, it's already Friday, I feel like. I feel like that's true. Follow me on Twitch.